finals hopes on the line. The Dragons had everything to fight for against the Bulldogs, and with just minutes remaining, the Red V looked set for victory before some crucial calls flipped the script.
Obviously, all eyes on that man, or rather boy, just turned 20 this week, Lachlan Galvin. Galvin on to Tracy, a 3-on-2, Crichton on, Kira's over, on to Gutherson, he's away, he's got Sully on his inside, he's got Sloan on his outside, and it's all over, Tyrell Sloan. Oh, Crichton away, Crichton slips through, Preston on the outside, Galvin on the inside, and with a number 7 on his back, Galvin plunges over in the corner. Flanagan gets it on. This could be something. Out it goes. Over! Dragons have hit the lead. Oh, he's lost the ball. He is going upstairs via his captain.
Luciano Leilua's foot is moved forward into the space of the play the ball. This is ruck interference. The challenge by the Bulldogs is successful.
Seriously, that one there riles me more than anything because you have got to get to your feet to play the ball.
Out it goes Burton, on the kick out, tries to shovel it along, off a Dragon, 6 more tackles.
Kick out, passes the ball, hits Sloan and goes forward. 100 years, that's a knock on. You know, some decisions tonight that cost us 2 competition points.
Here's Galvin on the left, Galvin's pass, Rinakama, yes! Rinakama is over! The kid at number 7 comes up with the biggest play in the game.
That was the turning point, thanks to Ashley and Martin Medical Hair Centres. Flanno's Red V Rage. He was not happy in the press conference after that one, Dan. The Lachlan Galvin pass, match winner. But there was a few calls that he thought they got wrong.
Yes, and I know we're going to debate those. I thought the play the ball that he really was upset about, he might have had a case there. But you know what? You got to make that last tackle. Don't race in. And I know that's cruel on Tyrell Sloan, and I think the better team lost that game. But there's a reason why the Dragons keep losing close ones. And while they didn't get the rub of the green on Saturday night, and I can understand Shane's frustration, don't run in and open the door for Galvin. He was like a glitch in that video game, the poor fella. And it just... Canterbury, the kid had one moment. He was not very good all game. None of them were. But one moment, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, but Dan, going back to Kiraz Leilua, they wouldn't be down that end of the field with Kiraz passing to the winger if the referee, not the referee, the bunker hadn't got it wrong.
Let's have a look at it, Buzz. You're strong on this, all right? Now, let's have a look.
I'm very strong on it, Brad.
Because after the game, Flanagan's adamant they got this wrong. How did you see it, Buzz? You're obviously saying...
Well, every side, with a game at this stage, is after a quick play the ball. Kiraz was after a quick play the ball, planted it, not on the ground, but planted it on the player's boot, the St George defender, Leilua. The referee called it correctly. Then it went up to the bunker and they overturned it. I have no doubt whatsoever that I'm right and Flanagan is right on that one decision. I won't wear that there was a knock-on in the next one, but that was definitely...
Okay, so after we did this on Super Saturday, and the whole panel agreed with you and Flanno, we thought they got it wrong. And we looked at it a few times. Since then, I've looked at it even more. And I tend to think now it's a 50-50 call. It could have went either way. Now, I know you said he planted on his foot, but watch Leilua's foot move late here, there. Yeah. So it moves into the ruck.
His feet, mate.
I know, and there's an argument that Kiraz should have got to his feet entirely and didn't, and it could have been incorrect play the ball. But I don't see it as clear as I did that night.
But Braith, what you're saying, a 50-50 call, the bunker has to run with the referee. The referee is a lot closer.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
If a referee
can I also point out, look, Leilua's arms on Jacob Kiraz's back, which stops him getting to his feet. Now, the NRL has cleared this today, said this decision is right.
But that doesn't make it right reading.
Well, it does.
It doesn't.
That does.
It
because
doesn't.
they sat there and they've watched this and said...
But you know what the NRL's...
He put it... Look, Flanno talked about him planting the ball. He hasn't planted the ball because... Leilua's foot's got in the way, so the ball was never planted. Let's start by saying that. It was
planted. He planted on his boot. He tried to play it too quickly and he stuffed it up.
The second thing is he hasn't got to his feet because Leilua's got his arm on his back, Buzz. That's why he hasn't got to his feet.
Can I just challenge you on the NRL saying you got it right? Were you at Leichhardt Oval yesterday?
Yeah, I was.
Did
yeah.
you see Jerome Luai knock
They
on the
haven't
football?
said that was right. They never said that was right. I spoke to the NRL about that decision today. They said...
You know what they said? And you know they said this. They said that was a 50-50 call. That's what the blatant Leilua knock on. There it is.
That was a knock on. That was
Right?
no 50-50.
So you're relying on the NRL telling you the spin doctors
I'm relying on
who
what I
work
see.
for Andrew
What I see,
Abdo and
Buzz.
Peter Villette.
I just told you
you're
what I
relying
saw.
on. You keep quoting the NRL.
Well, no, I told you what I saw.
The NRL were wrong
which
with
is
that knock-on
Leilua's
as well.
arm was on his back, which prevented him getting to his feet, and Leilua's foot, the ball was never planted
Mate,
on the ground
I'm
because
sorry,
his foot got in
Reedy.
the way.
I'm sorry. The spin doctors have got to you. They have, mate. They have.
Okay.
Can we go back to Kiraz just for a second? Because there's something that no one's talked about here, and it's the fact that when decisions are going to the video, to the bunker, they are no longer going on field. Now, referees on field, they feel the game and they go with flow, right? And they manage a game. Once it gets to the bunker, it is now, that's where the ticky-tack decisions come in. That's the Harry Grant decision that cost Melbourne the game. Because to the letter of the law, what is the bunker supposed to do when Leilua does... I'm with you. I think Kiraz is at fault because he clearly gets up before and tries to plant before he's entitled to. But letter of the law, Leilua's arm is on him the whole way and there's the leg in there as well. So letter of the law, they're adjudicating it differently.
The first error, to my eyes, was him trying to play it too quickly and planting the ball on his foot.
And I think the NRL's assertion, whether it's spin doctoring, and I think it might be or not, is that before he gets a chance to make the error, Leilua makes the error first. He creates the first penalty.
I thought it was a really, really sloppy attempt to play the ball.
I agree with you.
And all weekend we've had play the ball penalties for roll through the tunnel.
But it's sloppy because the bloke's arm's on his back, Buzz, and
I
his
don't
foot
agree.
and his foot's in
Reedy,
the ruck.
I'm sorry, I don't agree. I feel
know how you
really
disagree,
strongly
you can
about
see
it.
it.
Let's agree
I
to
feel St
disagree.
George were dudded.
Let's agree to disagree because we could argue all night over this one. Let's get to the next one. Now, this was Viliami kick out, left-hand side, goes for the quick hands, which I've seen him do 5, 6, 7 times this year. Shane Flanagan is adamant that he dropped this. I totally disagree with Shane on this. Now, my opinion, kick out's going for those quick hands that I said that he does often. Was a pass, and he tries to pass it on. It's knocked down by Sloane. So I didn't see this as he did. How did you guys see it?
I think Flano's seen that live, and when you see that live, yeah, it looks like a knock-on. But when you see the replay like we've seen, and the touch judge was right there in line with it, and it was based on the touch judge's call, I believe, you can see that's a pass break that's knocked by Terrell Sloane. So I think they've got this one spot on. I can understand why Flano had the reaction he had to it, because he's sitting in a stand and he's sitting up high in a stand, you see that, I could see why you would think that's a knock-on. But when you see it like
But
we've
they've also
seen,
got computers that they look at in the
But
box.
they do. They
and in the
can get a
sheds.
clear look at it.
but
And
from
look,
behind, it looks like a knock-on, I reckon.
Tell me if I'm wrong, Braith. I don't have a real problem with what happened there, and I can wear that one. Was Sloane in the wrong place in the first time? Should he have stuck to his wing and trusted his centre?
In this play.
That's what...
No, he's coming up to jam. He's just...
Yeah, but I know you come up to jam, but should he have come up to jam when he had a centre there?
His
centre was committed
or whether he had the edge forward there.
No, his centre got committed.
So you think he did the right thing
Just
coming
then he
in?
did, yeah. He had to, because look, Sully gets...
Well, you didn't have to.
Sully'd
Sully's
been-
actually releasing there
Well,
late.
it's sort of released, but it was
it's a
late.
fair point
so
you
he'd been
make.
pulled in there.
But then what's that got to do with anything? We're arguing over the knock-on here, aren't we?
No, but what I'm trying to say is Plano could also ask his winger. That's why he was not there in the first place, to keep an eye on the winger.
Listen, St George Illawarra have mastered the art of losing close games this year. I think Flanagan is 100% right with the Kiraz decision. And I can understand his frustration. But there's a reason they're out of the 8. They should be actually, strangely, right in the mix, but they keep losing the close games because they can't close them out.
Did you see Canberra 2 Saturdays ago, the Sloane forward pass? When the try got called back for a forward pass that went a metre backwards?
Yeah, but Buzz,
now, what I'm saying is...
Buzz. You're talking about a team that no matter what calls they get, are they going to win the game still?
Right.
Since round 9, Flano's been saying, he said it at round 9, we need to improve our game management and we need to finish off our games. I haven't heard him say it since, but that's the problem they've got.
And I agree with all that. I agree with what you're saying, but what I'm trying to point out is 2 weeks in a row, they've had a couple of bad calls, match-deciding calls.
They have had
But that
tough
wasn't
calls.
match deciding, Buzz.
What,
That
down
was
in Canberra?
No, it was in the first 20 minutes or something.
They had a try taken off
in
them.
the first
a possible,
15 or 20 minutes.
They had a try. Can I finish? They had a try taken off them, right, and a conversion attempt, and they were beaten by 4.
Well, it happened in the first half. You
Doesn't
can't-
matter.
That's a stretch to say that
I
cost them the
agree.
game.
It's a terrible call, but it's not to say it cost them the game. That was in the first 10 minutes. Yeah.
Look, I feel a bit sorry for them. I do, because I thought they did enough to win that game.
That was
the other day.
heartbreaking, that game.
And, we talk about the Galvin pass, miracle pass, great pass, brave pass, risked an intercept.
But that's the difference between the teams, Buzz. Like Dan's right. They've had a go all year, but they just and Braith said it too. They haven't had someone, and Tim Watford, who's coming on later, has spoken about this. They're after a marquee half because they haven't had someone who can get them over the line when the game's in the balance.
Yeah, and that's
Further to that, they've had some tough calls. They had tough calls in this game, but in the first half, their kicking game and their game management, their kicking game was diabolical. And even in key moments, their short dropouts and their fifth tackle options, you wouldn't see much worse if you looked at every game this year in that first 40 minutes.
Sure.
So, we can look at all of these unlucky calls they're getting, and rightly so. And you can feel sorry for them because they could have won, should have won 4 or 5 more games this year. But you can't overlook that they do have issues with the way they're playing at times.
And Braith, I'll go back to, we've spoken about it here, and Shane gets upset with this, right? And this is not a shot at Kyle, and I'll stress that, it's not a shot at Kyle Flanagan. But the reserve grade team is winning. They won again on the weekend. Their halves and that, it's not just Lockie, it's Jonah Glover as well, been playing out of their skin in reserve grade. Can't get a look in. And that's not, look, that's
why does he get angry with that?
Because he thinks
He seems to be very sensitive
Because
about
he's
all
a
this.
father, mate.
Yeah.
He's a father.
But
And look, I don't necessarily...
They've won 1 out of their last 6.
Yeah.
The New South Wales Cup have won 11 out of their last 12. And then if
I
the
can
problem...
see why I can see why you're discussing it, but a father doesn't looks at his son differently. It's a fact of
but
life.
that's not even saying Cole should be out the team.
Yeah.
Like
Well, what are you
Tommy
saying
has
then?
been battling in recent weeks.
I think he's going all right, the 5'8". I think he's going okay. Look, the bottom line is with St George, and we're here picking them apart and giving them the first 10 minutes of the show, compared to Parramatta, compared to the West Tigers, compared to the Titans, and this was a side many expected to finish, some tipping to win the wooden spoon. So they're not going too bad. But I can understand this debate. I personally...
We're talking about the top of the show because of the controversy.
Yeah, we are.
We're not talking about because they're poor performances.
Look, I understand that. But I think Kyle Flanagan is a hooker, and that's where his place is down the track with that St George side.